FEMA is assessing the damage right now across the state of Florida. The extent of the destruction caused by Ian, it is unclear at this point, but President Biden vowed that Floridians and the federal government will, quote, work together as a team. That could get complicated, though. According to First Street Foundation, this is a nonprofit research group, there are hundreds of thousands of homes which lie in flood risk areas that may not be recognized by FEMA's flood maps. So that may become an issue for a lot of homeowners who are in desperate need of federal resources to repair and rebuild, and that money might not be at the ready. Joining us now to discuss the government's response on Hurricane Ian, and it is not done yet, Joe Khalil. Joe, thank you. FEMA and the president have been in constant contact, and the need is great, and it might become even greater in the days and months to come.
Yeah, very well may, Marty. And what that's going to take is a delicate relationship between Florida officials, especially Governor Ron DeSantis, and the White House and FEMA. And, you know, a lot has been made of that relationship, partly, Marnie, because we could very well see a presidential race, a matchup in 2024 between President Biden and Governor DeSantis. You know, these two are political rivals, but they are forced to put that rivalry aside right now in the face of this crisis, of this hurricane, even though they were, you know, trading insults literally just a couple of days ago about the migrant issue. Now, to each of their credit, both of them have said that it is time to sort of rise above that partisan politics and work together. And a lot has been done so far already. And we can even put up on your screen the tangible results of those discussions. So far, 7.5 million liters of water, 6.6 million meals, and more than 110,000 gallons of fuel. That has been the commitment that FEMA has been directed to give to Florida. Not all of it has been acted on yet, but that is at least what has been given the green light so far. Marnie, unfortunately, recent history has shown us that we live in such a politically divided environment right now that working across the aisle and helping somebody, even in a time of crisis, who's considered a political rival and getting too close may actually hurt you. And we've been looking at 2012, for instance, in the wake of the Hurricane Sandy. Then Governor Chris Christie was working hand in hand with then President Obama. The president even went to New Jersey. They had interactions with each other, even at one point this sort of handshake embrace between the two leaders. Fast forward a couple of years, Chris Christie is running for president, wanting to get the Republican primary, and he was actually slammed for that moment.
I don't trust President Obama with our records. I know you gave him a big hug, and if you want to give him a big hug again, go right ahead.
That was one clip that we showed. We could have picked, you know, a dozen other. He really paid a political price, Governor Chris Christie did, for working so closely with President Obama. So, it's unfortunate we have to bring up the sort of cynical political aspect of this story when people in Florida and other places are still sort of picking up the pieces. But Governor Ron DeSantis is sort of a rising figure in the Republican Party. How he handles this crisis and how he works with the White House is certainly going to speak to his leadership. And you've got a lot of eyes looking at those two working together, having to work together in the face of this crisis right now, Marnie.
Yeah, well, when lives are on the line, we should all be on the same team. Put politics aside. Clean water, power, food, shelter, support, and love. That's what these people need. All right, Joe, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.